Welcome back, WNST, Towson, Baltimore, and WNST.net. One of the thrills of coming to Super Bowl Radio Row year after year is actually connecting with the people that I connect with. This guy here is my Canadian friend. We met in the men's room the other night. He is Brad Gagnon of Bleacher Report, who, if you've been following the journey here, has been a friend and foil. He does like Rush. I should have worn my Rush sweatshirt today in your honor. We will sing "Oh Canada" before this is over with, and a few bars of your favorite Rush song. But welcome, man. Good to see you. Happy.
I had to study a little bit.
Where's your passport? Let me see your papers.
It's not just Rush. It's anything Canada. That's why it's my civic duty to like anything Canadian, even Justin Bieber to a very small extent. Do you still want me on live?
No,
are you going to call me in the future? Or is this relationship over now?
I have people of mine building walls on the southern border to keep out people that look like me, quite frankly. So, I'm trying to build a bridge to the Canadian people here. You know what I mean?
I appreciate it. And again, like Rush, I had to Google a little bit.
You don't know a Rush song?
Xanadu?
All right, that's fine. Yeah, go ahead. You want to sing?
I'm not singing it. I can't sing it.
Oh,
Can you sing it?
No, man. Xanadu.
No, man.
All right, is that good? No, I don't know. That's pretty. Getty would give me tepid applause for that, I think. I'll come up with some words from the Xanadu. Anyway, football's your gig, but we've talked baseball in the past. Is this your first Super Bowl?
No, this is my 6th or 7th. I lose
How have
track.
I not?
But the last few years, so we've only been doing this the last few years together, you and I.
Okay.
And I've missed the last few.
Okay.
I was actually back in the Miami, Dallas, Indy, New York, New Orleans. So those were my first 5.
Oh, you were in New Orleans when the Ravens won?
Yeah. I was there. I assume you were there.
All right. Well,
we didn't even know each other yet.
Right,
we hadn't met in a bathroom at that point in time or otherwise. So.
All right. That's all good, man.
Yeah.
Well, I follow your work. I have you on. You're our Canadian friend. You cover the National Football League. What do you make of this mess?
That it's a mess. I mean, again, not my first experience. My the colleague I'm with this week, it's his first one, so it's funny seeing it through his eyes to an extent. How much of opening night is a joke at this point, right? I mean, it's just a big circus. And
it starts on Sunday. Luke and I were discussing this, and Luke's busy dealing with Eric DeCosta right now. And the audio. Go to the buyatoyota.com audio vault and blame it on Luke. That's all I'm going to say. That's fine.
Blame it on Luke could be just the tag in general, maybe. Maybe that's a new tag for you guys. Blame it on Luke.
Blame it on Luke. I'm going to work on that.
I don't know why I would throw you under the bus.
We're going to sell some shirts on that. It is fascinating because we were talking about the Pro Bowl. They got guys playing offense and defense now interchangeably. The Pro Bowl is a joke.
Agreed.
The Monday night thing, which began in the afternoon as like something legitimate reporters would want to fill their notebooks with, and Entertainment Tonight could come and do the angle, and the kid could get on the shoulders, and they could do a cancer story and a feel-good military. They could do all of that stuff. They've now turned it into a legitimate WWE circus on Monday night, right? Like that's what this has become.
When it kind of jumped the shark for me was when, I would do the media days in the past, and it was media day then, right? Now it's opening night. And I could still get some content. You're right. And now, all of my recordings from that night, it's Scott Hansen's voice. Like it's because they have him.
Oh, right.
They have him on a screen.
He is booming inside of an actual press conference. Wow. I didn't think about that.
I can't even hear. And so,
it's so not in consideration. And I'll be honest with you. Monday night, I went out to dinner with an old friend, and Luke had the night free, and our hotel is from here to the bathroom, away from the front door of the basketball arena, and we both like basketball arenas. And I said, man, if there's ever a night that you're going to do this circus, we don't have to get in a shuttle, no anything else to do, we don't have some great restaurant to go to. Just, if you were going to wander into the circus, just zero interest.
So you didn't do it, and you don't do it in general?
Well, I did it I did it in San Diego in 1999. I have a great picture of me and what's her name? Hold on. I'll get her name. She was a very famous model. She's the one that did the Ravens back in '97. She did the Vinny Testaverde TV shoot. Rebecca Romaine. Thank you. I was going to say John Stamos' ex-wife.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
So I have a picture with her on the field at Radio Row that day. I actually have a picture with Rex Hudler from that day. Don't ask why. I don't even know. But Rex Hudler was there. Yeah, I don't know. The Green Bay Packers were there. The Denver Broncos. Shannon Sharp and I have a picture that day. So I have that one. The year the Ravens were in it in Tampa, I went to the Giants presser, but not the Ravens presser because I was doing national radio and I couldn't. And then I didn't go back again until the Ravens were in it in New Orleans. I've been like 3 times. It's my 26th Super Bowl.
Wow. All right.
I just have never found it to be even a compelling circus to attend.
The one in Tampa, I didn't attend. I remember watching. And I think that harkens back to the good days of Media Day. I remember that one.
When Ray Lewis got grilled about okay.
That was legit.
Shannon Sharp,
that was I think probably fruitful for the reporters covering it, more so than this is. Now it's just lost all of it. But that was that when I think of a good Media Day, I think of
the
that
double murder
Ravens
in Atlanta. Roselle, and then after that it was Tagliabue, right? And Tagliabue once told us to go build a museum when we lost expansion.
Specific
I mean,
criteria.
there was some real FU when we didn't get a team.
Yeah.
And LA's, the Rams are in the Super Bowl. They won a quarter of a century where there were no fans there even clamoring. I don't know that the people of Toronto or the Canadian citizens feel like they have to have a team to be validated in some way, right?
The thing about Toronto is it has a massive corporate presence. It is the 3rd largest city in North America, so it definitely has, obviously, the population. So it makes sense on paper. If you started an NFL right now from scratch, it would be one of your 32, I would imagine, candidates to have a team. Sadly, Buffalo probably wouldn't be on that list, and Jacksonville might.
Or Green Bay or anybody. Right,
or Green Bay, exactly, the perfect example. At this point, the Bills just changed hands in terms of their ownership. It seems like the new base there is looking to they're going to build a stadium.
Screw this up as bad as it's ever been screwed up. Yes,
but regardless,
are you a Bills fan?
No, I'm not a fan of anybody. You know what? I'm an erstwhile Titans fan. I like Tennessee it was even pre-Tennessee when I was in high school.
Were you an Oiler fan?
Yeah, I was an Eddie George fan. That was my thing.
Oh, he was your gateway.
Yeah, into becoming.
But a Canadian kid, you didn't grow up playing football, though, right?
I played high school football, but I didn't play. We still have a little bit of football. It's more hockey, obviously, and soccer and even baseball. But I played. And I loved it, and Eddie George. This is the beauty of it. Tennessee Titans, random, right? I probably know somebody in Toronto from all 32 fan bases. It is very much like Los Angeles has become, in that you have this melting pot of fandom because the Bills have been awful for 20 years.
So why support?
No kids you don't find a millennial Bills fan in the city because you see Jaguars fans because might as well pick that team.
So your sports bars are like a rainbow coalition.
I have an idea. To create a bar in Toronto that would have at least 16 monitors based on this theory that I think you know what I'm getting at, and could it serve all the different fan bases. So on a Sunday, you can come and you have a little booth area for the Browns, a little area for the Bills, have all the games with volume, and you could just capitalize on the eclecticness of
If I go to Toronto on a Sunday in October, November at 2 in the afternoon and walk down Yonge in whatever direction, which I've never done on obviously an NFL game day.
Yeah.
What's it smell like? What's it look like? I mean, I've been there for many Jays games when it's been awesome and when it's been awful through 2 generations. I've been there for Leafs games. I've been there for Stones concerts.
Yeah.
I've been there for lots of stuff. I love Toronto. I love T.O., as they say.
Yeah. It's a great city, but it wouldn't have.
I've been there to stalk Eddie Lee. Sometimes, no. I wouldn't do that. Well,
what about all those texts you send me
saying
is Getty at so and such? And I'm like, Nestor, I don't know. I'm not there right now.
Leave Geddy Lee alone. Let him go live his life. He's serviced you. Leave the man be.
But to answer your question, it wouldn't be much different. It wouldn't be much different on a Sunday on Yonge Street in Toronto for NFL action.
I walk in, there's a Chiefs fan, there's a Broncos fan. But the
Raptors would be on before any NFL
would people be wearing the current
Yeah.
A jersey.
Oh, yeah. You'd see Mahomes jersey. You'd see a golf jersey, I'm sure, even.
Super
Maybe
Bowl
not
be a little
Rams
buzzed
so
up in
much.
certain places, little some people.
Yeah, oh yeah, they'll be.
Okay.
But you know what? Toronto is very much I want to focus at home city for sports to an extent, especially. Well, I was gonna say especially Leafs even. I mean, you don't get the same like bar mentality. People want to. You'll get together at a house like 20, 25 people, and just.
Do you have
what I'm saying,
Do you have a Maple Leaf tattoo or anything on your body or no?
Well, I'm a Habs fan. Oh, you mean like the actual Maple Leaf, like the Canada flag?
I am from Canada.
My brother has the actual.
Of course,
I'm not a tattoo guy, but you'll. With 6 degrees of separation, less than that in terms of who would have a Canadian represented.
You're here right now.
My backpack's not here. I have it on my backpack right now.
Of course you would, which was my point of how patriotic you are.
Yeah.
And it also puts out that, if you're going to do something untoward, I'm not an American, which is fine.
That's true, especially internationally.
You don't want to get mixed up with this.
When I was in Southeast Asia a couple years ago, I had that Canada thing right front and center, and a few Americans said that they deliberately don't have the American flag. Yeah, so
I had that Canada thing.
You did that? Oh, I love that.
Who wouldn't do that?
They say it's a myth. I've heard that's a myth.
People.
Americans don't actually do that.
If you tell somebody you're from Canada, they're a lot nicer to you.
It's funny how that is.
No, that's a fact. I'm not making that up. That's just so. But here's the thing:
we love you guys, though. We do have a good relationship.
I know you do. You're like Minnesota nice. You pretend to like us. We'll see how much you like us when I call and say, "Hey, Brad, that couch."
Yeah, exactly. It's there. I
need an exit
I have
strategy.
a spare bedroom. I can put you up for a while.
Will the hockey game be on?
I mean, it depends. Is it Caps or
how far
is
Getty
it
Lee live from you?
Well, you should know.
That's a good point. So, no, I'm really being serious about this. There's a part
about moving in with me.
No.
Okay.
Can we get back to Getty Lee? Anyway, so I mean this sincerely.
Yeah.
There is a rallying point around the Blue Jays, which we all saw 3-4 years ago in the game that we call the Zach Britton game, and you call the
Edwin game.
Right, the Edwin game.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to get into that with you because we've done that before, and that's old news.
It's painful.
It's
I
fake
understand
news.
that.
It's true news that's fake that I'm going to call fake. The whole country got around the Blue Jays, okay? When it came time for the NBA and the Raptors came and then the Grizzlies and then not so much, I think there's an international part where, Vince Carter, what the Raptors are now, the strong North, all that stuff, that it's Canada's team. The Expo's gone, kind of pissed off Quebec. Now you have one baseball team. Hockey is your sport. We don't need to talk about that, right? That's always on. But when it comes to football, you don't have a team, right? So I find that to be a fascinating sort of sticking point for how popular football could possibly be in Canada, where we, meaning the guy with the American tattoo, doesn't, you don't have a dog in the hunt, which is, of all the sports, that's the one you're not in, right?
And it's a good reason why a franchise wouldn't necessarily be a great idea, even though Toronto on paper would seem like a great place because you've already got other allegiances. A lot of people are just big fantasy guys, and I have a lot of friends that aren't fans of teams, but they love to bet or have fantasy football implications, which is odd to me still. I mean, it's nice to get behind an actual team, but they had the series. Buffalo played 5 games over 5 years, the Bills, in Toronto a few
and it
years
didn't do
back.
well.
It was tepid response.
It did not do well.
Yeah. So that was an indicator. But you know why? It's also I think people in Toronto want to cheer for a Toronto team. It's not a Toronto
borrowing
team.
Somebody else's team.
We don't need to borrow a team. We're good enough to have our own.
I mean, look at the
not.
Chargers. They're never going to have a home again.
Probably not. I mean, you never know. It's cyclical with these things. You guys know it's cyclical with these things.
The Chargers thing is the biggest disgrace that in a league that's got a lot of disgraces where they blackballed, Colin Kaepernick, where Stan Kroenke is stolen off the team.
Yeah.
The Chargers, that's just a disgrace.
It is. California football is actually the epitome of everything the NFL does wrong when you think about it. Look what's happening with Oakland and the Raiders in general, and obviously what happened with the Chargers, and it's just ugly. It's ugly, and so you know why? It's because California specifically is a state that won't fund stadiums. Good for them.
We have funded a few in Baltimore, and I'm asking the questions this year as to whether there's been real value for baseball and for
it's
football.
A fair question.
For what the vision that Governor Schaefer had in the 1980s and 90s after the Colts were ripped away, what is the value? Hey, dude, we're sitting here in the middle of a Super Bowl in Atlanta where I've watched them erect the Georgia Dome and destroy it, erect Turner Field. And
20 years.
And now they've moved the baseball team out where the white people are. I mean, let's call it what it is. I mean, that's a fact. They fix elections here. I'm not calling I'm not saying anything that we haven't figured out to my Canadian friend.
Do we have a Stacey Abrams placard here, too?
She'll be doing the State of the Union right out here at CNN Plaza where they But I mean, I'm hearing what you're saying, that from a civic platform standpoint, there's no Canadian ideal to pay $2 billion to play in the game. Like, Canada and Toronto's not going to. We're not going to build an outdoor stadium in this socialist place to suck a $2 billion civic project to be legal weed. But keep going.
That's true too. The Skydome wouldn't work.
Expensive beer too. Bastards overcharge for their beer.
Depends where you're going. When you're on my couch,
you're paying for social medicine.
When you're on my couch, I'll subsidize your beer for.
And then you subsidize my health care after the beer kills me.
That's how we slowly do that. Yeah.
Love these Canadians.
The Rogers Center isn't an NFL stadium at this point in time. They would need to build a stadium. It would cost $2 billion, and that would never come private or public. That's
men who hold high places must be the ones to start to mold the new reality closer to the heart.
Wow.
Geddy Lee wrote that. He didn't actually. Neil Peart wrote that, but that's okay. Geddy sang it.
I'm impressed, Nestor.
And Alex played it. They're all your people, for crying out loud. Be proud of your people.
I just said I am because they're Canadian. Doesn't matter who you are. If you're Canadian, I'm behind you. I support Justin Bieber. I don't listen to his music, but I support him. Carly Rae Jepsen, I support her. I don't listen to her music, but I support her. That's just the way we are.
How do you feel about Alanis?
I like Alanis.
All right.
Alanis is good.
All right.
You don't feel too strongly about her based on that. I mean, she's done some good stuff.
No! Okay. God, I've had a lifetime of crush on Alanis Morissette.
Shania Twain, too. Not as much the music in my case, but, I mean, lifetime
feels like
crush
a woman.
would be,
Yep.
I mean,
I got a crush on Bryan Adams, which is probably why I let you on the show, because you look a little like Bryan Adams.
Yeah,
you got a little,
I'll take
you
that.
got a little cuts like a knife era there, a little reckless era. I see that. Yeah,
I'll take that. All right, that's why this all started. Bryan Adams. You
Something
saw me
like
on
that.
Twitter. You're like,
I just don't want to talk about the Blue Jays and the Edwin game with you.
We can't do that. We can't do it because you know why? It didn't end well for us in the end either. Us. I don't like saying that. Us. It's not us. It's not me. I'm not on the team. Didn't end well for the Blue Jays either.
By the way, now that I've hoisted the Stanley Cup, which I know to your countrymen is the most important thing ever.
You are Canadian, I think now.
Oh.
Legally. You've hoisted the Stanley Cup. It makes you an honorary Canadian.
I pee Maple Leaf greatness, and that's tough for a Habs fan to hear. Yeah, right.
Let's go with that.
Canadian bacon or something. I don't know. I'm just making it up at this point. I hope the Maple Leafs win the Cup. I just want to say that as someone who's loved hockey. Look, I hope Trotz wins the Cup. I hope the Islanders win. If they do, I'll go drink and send and text pictures to Ted Leonsis.
It's easy to say that.
And I would too. I would. Ted, you better hope Barry doesn't win a cup. I'm telling you right now. But yeah, I mean, I want to see what that would look like in the same way. And I know I don't want to hear it now, and Luke's going to throw up. I really did want to see the Red Sox win when they won. Then, not the fifth time, but when I was at Yankee Stadium with my wife and Kurt Schilling's wife, and wearing for the first time in my life a Red Sox hat, dancing around there while the Yankees died. It did feel good for the Red Sox. I even liked the Cubs. Well,
that was fun. It's fun watching
I like
these
that
things
some
happen.
Cubs friends of mine win. I have Cleveland friends who finally won and got to have a parade. I'm not a hater. I mean, even the Eagles got the win, and a couple of friends of mine got to be a participant. So I'm not a hater. But there is a point for the Maple Leafs for me. Hockey will not be whole until they win, for me.
And Winnipeg, Calgary, and Toronto are three of the top teams in the league standings-wise right now. So, I mean, maybe this is the year for one of those Canadian teams to break through. The Leafs could be that. Listen, I'm a Habs fan. My family's from Montreal, French-Canadian. I'm a Habs fan, but I'm on board with you. I'm in the same boat. I want the Habs to beat the Leafs if they play, and they're not going to if they play because the Habs are not as good as the Leafs right now, for once. And so I agree. I want them. I want to see them. My stepdad's a diehard Leafs fan. I'd love for that to happen for him for the first time in 50 years.
So you're not a hater, even though you're a Habs fan?
Not at all.
Because that's a thing, right?
But the reverse doesn't exist. There's no Leaf fan on the planet that wants the Habs to win a Stanley Cup.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. That's why it's easy for you to say you're okay with the Leafs winning too, because you just went through a victory with the Capitals.
How old were you the last time the Canadians won the Cup? How old were you?
Young.
Yeah. You were very young.
Yeah, I don't really remember
YONGE.
Yeah. Yes. Nice. I wonder how many of them are getting it, but I mean, they can Google that. They'll piece it together.
You have Canadian viewers. Brad Gagnon.
Yeah. Well, I'll put this up on.
So the last thing for you, and this is he was going to do the show yesterday.
Yeah.
And he came over to do the show. He's come over 5 times to do the show because he's my friend and I want to have him on.
Well, I'm not exactly high in the
priority. And we ran into each other in the bathroom, which is the best part after doing like 50 hours of radio together over the last 5 years. So you had to step away and do Winnipeg radio. And I turned to Luke and I said, how much would you give me if I grabbed the phone and start ranting about how racist the whiteout is in Winnipeg? Like a Saturday Night Live
I wonder what would
skit.
have happened. That would have been funny, but also
I don't know.
I definitely wouldn't be doing a radio spot with them again. That's for sure. Hey, listen, if we got on the path of racism in sports stadiums,
I was just trying to
look
be
at this
comedic.
city, the Tomahawk Chalk. I mean, we got a lot of issues.
It's called a whiteout, and you were in Winnipeg, and and by the way, I think the whiteout's the greatest single invention in hockey that I want to participate in. I was so pissed that I couldn't drive from Minneapolis up to Winnipeg because I had it all. I had the Winnipeg in the Cup Finals.
Oh,
pegged.
that you mean you couldn't?
No,
because
I
they
had
didn't
my
get
rooms.
To the Cup. Yeah,
I was very bummed to have to go to Vegas. No, I'm not kidding you.
Which is rare.
I wanted to go to Winnipeg.
You preferred Winnipeg over Vegas. That takes
to
some
see
real
the Stanley Cup Finals in Winnipeg
versus Vegas. Vegas is a hockey hotbed, Nestor. You haven't heard?
I spent 2 weeks there. It was 105 degrees, and the hockey game was on.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there was a Jimmy Buffett line. Brad Gagnon here from Bleacher Report. I'm writing comedy on the side. Hello to my friends in Winnipeg.
You just lost them all, man.
Winnipeg loves me. They love me up there on the plains. You need me when it's a school. Dude, if it's minus 60 in Minneapolis, what is it right now in Winnipeg?
At least minus 61.
You're Canadian. You're hardy.
I also don't even know how to do the conversion to Celsius Fahrenheit. So, I mean, minus 60.
One thing I'm always screwed about is when I pull up to a gas tank in Canada and they give me petro in liters. I'm like, I know this is costing me $8 a gallon. I know it, but I can't convert it. I don't know how to do it. How many liters in a gallon?
If only the devices in our pockets could allow us.
Did I
to
just
do
say something really stupid? I said 3 point something liters in a gallon. Google that.
I don't know liter
How
versus
many
gallon
liters in a
very well.
gallon? And how is it that I'm on an American radio row and I'm like, how many liters in a gallon?
Yeah.
And nobody's turning and saying 3.8, you idiot. What is it? 3.78.
What did you say?
I'm dropping the mic on that. You can end the show.
I think you should retire.
I said 3.8. How do I know that?
Yeah, I know. That's the point. As if we didn't have these things in our pocket that we could check these things. You
know, they tried to teach me the metric system back in '76.
Yeah.
And it must have worked.
Do you know miles and kilometers? Do you know what the
5,280 feet is in a mile. There, 6.2
or 6.2.
6.2 miles is a 10K.
Yeah.
A 10K, 6.2 miles.
Yeah, okay, yeah. That's
and I always know that because it's always 100 miles an hour on your highways, which I think is cool.
Yeah.
But it's 100 kilometers, which is 62 miles an hour.
100 yeah, exactly.
On the QEW.
Nice. Yeah,
I'm dropping it all.
The Gardner Expressway.
I know the Gardner Expressway.
Yeah, you had a friend at Young and Eglinton. We got it all.
I've attended the ballet in Mississauga back in the day.
That's where I'm born.
They have good ballet there near the airport.
This was a great Super Bowl combo, by the way. This is way more interesting, I think, than going over for the 300th time
I prefer
how
Canadian
Tom Brady
beer.
will handle Aaron Donald, right? Right? I think so.
Tom Brady's going to win, right?
I do think that. To get one piece of Super Bowl analysis, Tom Brady and the Patriots are winning this game. We agree? You do think that, eh? Eh? I had to finish it off with an A.
Got our first A in. Tell me your sorry.
My story?
Sorry.
Oh, did we say it differently? Sorry. I'm sorry.
Sorry. Canadians say sorry.
Yeah.
All right. I'm sorry, but we have to break. Brad Gagnon here. It's all brought to you by, they're not sorry. Or sorry. Sorry. My wife and I get into that with New Hampshire. Is
that where she's from?
Second drink, and the A's start to replace the ERs. And,
Oh, really? Yeah.
My father parked the car. All that stuff.
Nice.
You know what I'm talking about, eh?
I went half an hour without dropping an A until the very end. I'm kind of annoyed at myself for that.
I kind of think it's awesome.
All right.
I'm Nestor. Everything we do is in the buy at Toyota.com Audio Vault 24 hours a day, from Atlanta. We are WNST.net, AM 1570 and WNST Towson, Baltimore, and we never stop talking Baltimore sports.